The Alchemy of Solitude, Harnessing Silence for Spiritual Empowerment. In the quiet moments of solitude, there lies a profound power waiting to be unearthed. As we step into the stillness of our own company, we are greeted by an opportunity to transform solitude into a source of immense inner strength and spiritual power. It begins with understanding that solitude is not merely the absence of noise or the presence of quietness. It is a sacred space where the soul can breathe, grow, and speak without interruption. Many of us resist solitude as it confronts us with the rawness of our innermost thoughts and feelings. Yet, it is in the embrace of this discomfort that the seeds of transformation are sown. When we are alone, undistracted by the cacophony of the external world, we can listen to the whispers of our inner wisdom. This is the voice that guides us towards our true north, the compass of our deepest values and our most authentic self. To turn solitude into spiritual power, we must first rid ourselves of the notion that solitude equates to loneliness. Loneliness is a feeling of lack, a yearning for external company, but solitude is a state of fullness, a complete presence with oneself. Within solitude, we find the space to connect with the universe, the divine, the infinite energy that permeates all things. This connection is the wellspring of all spiritual power. Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lessons. Imagine solitude as a vessel, and each moment of aloneness as a drop of water filling it. Over time, this vessel becomes a reservoir of clarity, insight, and peace, from which we can draw whenever we need to. The more comfortable we become with being alone, the more we can access this reservoir, and the more potent our spiritual power becomes. The first step in this alchemy is to create a sacred ritual around your times of solitude. It could be as simple as a cup of tea in the early morning stillness, a walk in nature, or a period of meditation. The key is to approach this ritual with intention, to see it as an appointment with the most important person in your life, you. In this space, we can begin to explore the landscape of our inner world. What terrains have we left unexplored? What rivers of emotion are flowing beneath the surface? What mountains of aspiration are we yearning to climb? Solitude gives us the time and space to explore these terrains without judgment or interruption. It allows us to honor our feelings, to recognize our desires, and to acknowledge our fears. The second step is to cultivate a practice of deep listening. In solitude, we can develop the ability to listen not just to the thoughts that flutter through our minds, but to the silence between those thoughts. What wisdom does the silence hold? It is within this silence that we often find the answers to the questions that perplex us, the guidance for the decisions that confound us, and the inspiration for the creativity that eludes us. As we become adept at listening to the silence, we begin to hear the subtle rhythms of our own being. We notice the patterns of our thoughts, the habits of our emotions, and the impulses of our deeper instincts. We learn to discern which of these serve our highest good and which do not. The third step is to practice presence. Solitude is the ultimate teacher of presence, for when we are alone, we are confronted with the reality of the moment in its purest form. There are no distractions, no external demands, only the inescapable now. In this now, we can practice being fully present with whatever arises, whether it be joy, sorrow, comfort, or discomfort. Presence allows us to embrace each experience with equanimity and to extract from it the wisdom it has to offer. The fourth step is to embrace creativity. Solitude is the canvas upon which we can paint the visions of our soul. It is the quiet composer of our inner symphonies, the unseen choreographer of our deepest dances. When we are alone, we are free to create without the constraints of external expectations or judgments. We can write, draw, sing, dance, or simply daydream, allowing the creative energies of the universe to flow through us. This creativity is a powerful form of spiritual expression, a way of bringing the unseen into the seen, the unmanifest into the manifest. The fifth step is to foster a relationship with nature. Solitude in the company of nature is one of the most potent forms of spiritual nourishment. Whether it's sitting by a stream, walking through a forest, or gazing at the stars, nature reminds us that we are part of something larger than ourselves. It teaches us about cycles and seasons, about growth and decay, and about the intricate web of life in which we are all interconnected. In nature, our solitude is not isolation but a deep communion with the world around us. As we practice these steps, we begin to see that solitude is not something to be endured but something to be cherished. It is a sacred container for the transformation of our being into its highest potential. In solitude, we can discover the boundless power that lies within us, the power to heal, to create, to love, and to connect with the infinite. Now, let us consider the nature of our existence, not the superficial comings and goings of everyday life, but the essence of who we truly are. What is the core of our being that remains when all else is stripped away? When we stand alone, devoid of roles and titles, who are we? This question is not meant to elicit a quick response, but to simmer within your thoughts, to resonate with your spirit. In the solitude of our own presence, we find an invitation to meet ourselves in our most primal state. Here, we can shed the layers of persona that we don to face the world and meet the simplicity of our true nature. It is in this unadorned state that we can truly assess our thoughts, our beliefs, and our actions. Are they in alignment with our true essence, or are they a performance for the benefit of others? This is where solitude becomes a crucible for authenticity. It demands of us an honesty that is often uncomfortable but ultimately liberating. Within the quiet, we cannot hide from our truths. We must face them, embrace them, or choose to transform them. This process is not for the faint of heart, but it is the pathway to genuine self-awareness and self-mastery. The sixth step in harnessing the power of solitude is to cultivate resilience. Solitude teaches us to rely on our own inner resources. When we are alone, we are the sole architects of our inner peace and happiness. We learn to find contentment within ourselves rather than seeking it from external sources. This self-sufficiency is empowering. It teaches us that while the company of others can enrich our lives, our well-being does not depend on it. The seventh step is to practice gratitude. In solitude, we can reflect on the blessings in our lives, the seen and the unseen. Gratitude turns what we have into enough and more. It shifts our focus from what is lacking to what is present. This shift in perspective is a powerful spiritual tool. It opens our hearts and allows us to see the abundance that surrounds us, even in our solitary moments. The eighth step is to extend compassion. Solitude allows us to connect with our own suffering, and in doing so fosters a deeper empathy for the suffering of others. When we understand our own struggles, we are more inclined to recognize and alleviate the struggles of those around us. Compassion is a force that not only heals others but also heals us. It is a testament to our interconnectedness and our shared humanity. The ninth step is to seek wisdom. Solitude provides the perfect environment for reflection and learning. It is a sanctuary where we can study the teachings of those who have walked the spiritual path before us. Whether through books, meditation, or prayer, we can absorb the lessons that resonate with our soul. Wisdom is the light that guides us on our journey, illuminating our path and helping us to avoid the pitfalls of ignorance. The 10th step is to integrate our solitude into our daily lives. The true measure of our spiritual power is not how we fare in isolation, but how we carry the insights and peace from our solitude into the world. Can we maintain our equanimity in the face of chaos? Can we retain our authenticity in the company of others? Can we remain connected to our inner wisdom amidst the noise of society? Integrating our solitude means living our spiritual truths with every breath, in every interaction, every day. As we advance on this path, we begin to recognize that solitude is not a destination, but a companion on our journey. It is a source of strength that we can return to again and again. It is a sanctuary where we can recharge, reflect, and renew our spirit. Solitude, then, is not just a momentary retreat from the world. It is an ongoing practice of returning to the essence of who we are. It is a practice of honing our inner power, of cultivating peace, wisdom, and love within ourselves, so that we may share these gifts with the world. And now let us pause and consider the vast tapestry of our lives. How does solitude weave its thread through the fabric of your experiences? What patterns emerge in the quiet? What beauty unfolds in the stillness? This reflection is not a task but an offering to your soul, a moment to honor the journey you have traveled and the journey that lies ahead. Let us move forward with the understanding that solitude is not a punishment but a privilege. It is a gift that offers us the keys to our own spiritual empowerment. Let us embrace the silence, the stillness, and the space to simply be. For it is in these moments of solitude that we encounter the fullness of our spiritual potential. The luminous path, unveiling the inner brilliance through solitude. Solitude offers us an unparalleled opportunity to illuminate the inner corridors of our consciousness. It is in this light that we can clearly see the contours of our psyche and the landscape of our soul. As we journey through the quietude of our solitude, we are tasked with the challenge of maintaining our inner flame, the spark of our divine essence that burns steadily within the recesses of our being. As we traverse the landscape of solitude, we must learn to become comfortable with the inherent darkness that accompanies our internal exploration. Darkness, in this context, is not an adversary but a canvas upon which the light of our awareness can shine more brightly. It is the contrast between light and darkness that allows us to appreciate the full spectrum of our human experience. The 11th step in our journey is to embrace reflection. Reflection is the mirror in which we can see ourselves clearly, without the distortions of ego or the smudges of societal expectations. Through reflection, we gain insight into our actions, our decisions, and the patterns of our lives. We begin to understand the consequences of our choices and the ripple effects they create in the pond of our existence. Reflection in solitude is a form of self-dialogue, where we can ask the questions that matter without fear of interruption or judgment. It is a conversation with the deepest parts of ourselves, a negotiation between who we are and who we aspire to be. This dialogue is not one of self-criticism, but one of self-compassion, where we can acknowledge our imperfections and embrace our humanity. The 12th step is to practice discernment. In solitude, we can cultivate the art of discernment, the ability to judge well. With discernment, we can make decisions that align with our highest good and the highest good of all involved. Discernment is not a skill that is perfected overnight. It is honed through the repeated practice of listening to our inner voice and weighing our choices with care and consideration. In the stillness of solitude, we can discern between the noise of our conditioning and the voice of our intuition. Our intuition is a compass that points us towards our truth, our inner wisdom that knows the path even before our conscious mind is aware of it. Discernment allows us to follow this compass with confidence, even when the terrain is unfamiliar or the destination is unknown. The 13th step is to honor silence. Silence is a profound teacher, one that instructs without words and imparts wisdom without lectures. In the embrace of silence, we find the space to hear the unspoken, to understand the message in the pause, the meaning in the breath between words. Silence teaches us to communicate with the language of the soul, a language that transcends words and pierces directly to the heart of understanding. In honoring silence, we also learn to honor our voice. We learn when to speak and when to listen, when to share our truth and when to hold it close. Our voice becomes a vessel for the expression of our innermost self, a bridge that connects our inner world with the outer world. The 14th step is to cultivate patience. Solitude teaches us the value of patience, the understanding that not all questions are answered immediately, not all problems are solved quickly, and not all growth is instant. Patience is the recognition that everything unfolds in its own time, that the seeds we plant today may take seasons to bloom. With patience, we can endure the periods of waiting that are inherent in any process of growth or transformation. We can bear the intervals of uncertainty with grace, trusting that the answers we seek will emerge in due course, that the clarity we desire will manifest when the time is right. The 15th step is to foster self-reliance. In the sanctuary of solitude, we can build a foundation of self-reliance, the confidence in our ability to face life's challenges on our own terms. Self-reliance is not about isolation. It is about the inner certainty that we possess the resources and resilience to navigate our journey. Self-reliance allows us to stand firm in our convictions, to trust in our capacity to make decisions, and to rely on our inner strength in times of adversity. It is a testament to the work we have done in solitude, the inner fortitude we have cultivated in our quiet moments of introspection and self-care. The 16th step is to engage in self-care. Solitude invites us to tend to our own needs, to nurture our body, mind, and spirit. Self-care in solitude is an act of reverence for the temple that houses our essence. It is the practice of honoring our vessel, ensuring that it is well maintained and respected. Self-care can take many forms, from the food we eat to the rest we allow ourselves, from the boundaries we set to the activities that bring us joy. In solitude, we learn what self-care looks like for us as individuals, what practices sustain us, and what rituals replenish our energy. Thank you for your engagement. If you have any further questions or topics you would like to explore, please feel free to share them, and we can continue our discussion. Certainly. Continuing with the journey of self-discovery and personal growth through the lens of solitude, let's explore additional steps to deepen our understanding and practice. The 17th step, nurture creativity. Solitude often provides the fertile ground needed for creativity to flourish. Away from the distractions and noise of our everyday environment, we can tap into our innate creative energies. This step involves actively engaging in activities that allow for creative expression, whether it be through writing, painting, music, or any other form of art. Creativity in solitude is not about the end product, but about the process of exploration, experimentation, and self-expression. The 18th step, seek wisdom. Solitude can be a time of profound learning and wisdom acquisition. During this time, we can delve into the teachings of those who have walked the path before us, whether by reading books, listening to lectures, or contemplating the lessons from our own life experiences. Seeking wisdom is a proactive step in using our alone time to expand our understanding and to gain new perspectives on life. The 19th step, embrace change. As we spend time in solitude, we may become aware of the need for change in various aspects of our lives. Embracing change means being open to the transformations that come from deep introspection. It requires the courage to let go of what no longer serves us and the willingness to step into the unknown. Change, although often uncomfortable, is the only constant and a powerful agent for personal growth. The 20th step, practice gratitude. In solitude, we have the opportunity to reflect on the things in our life that we are grateful for. Practicing gratitude turns our attention to the abundance present in our lives, rather than focusing on what we lack. It can be a simple daily practice of acknowledging a few things we're thankful for, or keeping a gratitude journal. This practice fosters a positive mindset and can shift our entire outlook on life. The 21st step, set intentions. Solitude allows us to become clear on our intentions, what we want to manifest in our lives. Setting intentions involves identifying our deepest desires and the values we want to live by. It is more than goal setting. It is about aligning our daily actions with our higher purpose. With clear intentions, we can move forward with focus and clarity. The 22nd step, connect with nature. Connecting with nature can be an essential aspect of solitude, even if it's just a quiet walk in the park or tending to a garden. Nature has a way of grounding us, reminding us of the cycles of life and the interconnectedness of all things. It can provide a sense of peace and tranquility that is hard to find in urban environments. The 23rd step, reflect on relationships. Solitude doesn't mean we live in total isolation. It can be a time to think about our relationships with others. Reflecting on relationships involves considering the roles we play, the boundaries we set, and the way we interact with others. It provides the space to think about how we can nurture meaningful connections and disengage from toxic ones. The 24th step, plan for reintegration. Finally, as we prepare to transition out of a period of solitude, it's important to have a plan for reintegration. This involves thinking about how we will bring the insights and growth we've experienced back into our daily lives and interactions with others. It's about maintaining the balance between our inner world and the outer world, and ensuring that we don't lose the benefits of solitude amidst the hustle and bustle of everyday life. Engaging in these steps can greatly enhance the experience of solitude and help us grow in ways we might not have imagined. Each step can be adapted to fit personal circumstances and preferences, making the journey of solitude a deeply personal and transformative one. If you have any questions or need further elaboration on any of these steps, feel free to ask.